For 43 years I served the machine god without question. For 43 years I walked the sacred halls of Titans, maintaining the god machines that crushed worlds beneath their feet. I thought I knew every secret the Omnissiah could reveal. I was wrong. What I found beneath the Ferrum Eternus changed everything. And now, as the Mechanicus declares me excommunicate, as they hunt me through the underhives of Metallica, I need you to know what I discovered. Because this story, this truth, it cannot die with me. My name is Engenseer Tertius Vol, and this is what happened when I heard the drip. The first thing you need to understand is the silence. Inside a Titan's leg assembly, there should never be silence. These god machines are cathedrals of sound, the hymnal thrumming of plasma conduits, the sacred whisper of coolant cycling through blessed veins, the rhythmic pulse of pressure stabilizers maintaining equilibrium. For 43 years I've heard this symphony. It's the sound of divinity made manifest in metal. But 3 months ago, standing in the maintenance shaft beneath the left leg of Warlord Titan Ferrum Eternus, there was only silence. And one other sound. Drip, drip, drip. I remember the exact moment I heard it. Fourth Watch, Manufactorum District 7 Tertius on Forge World Metallica. My augmetic eyes clicked and whirred in the darkness, bathing the narrow shaft in pale green light. My respirator wheezed, obscenely loud in the absence of the Titan's usual music. And somewhere high above, far beyond where my vision could penetrate, water was falling. Water. Inside a Warlord Titan. That should have been impossible. I knelt, my crimson robes pooling around me, and extended one of my mechadendrites. The metal tendril descended into the small puddle that had formed on the ferrocrete floor. My chemical analyzers began their work immediately. The data stream flickered across my optical display. G2O. Pure water. My remaining organic fingers, 3 on my left hand, twitched against the cold metal of my thigh. In 43 years of service, I had never encountered pure water this deep in a Titan's superstructure. Coolant, yes. Hydraulic fluid, certainly. Even sacred unguent oils. But water? Water was organic. Water was natural, and there was nothing natural about a Warlord Titan. 5. I should have reported it immediately. Filed a standard maintenance report. Let someone else investigate. But here's what they don't tell you about serving the machine god for 4 decades. You start to forget what curiosity feels like. You become a tool yourself, following protocols, speaking catechisms, never questioning, just functioning. And for the first time in longer than I could remember, I was curious. So I started to climb. The maintenance shaft extended upward 30 meters into the heart of the Titan's leg assembly. Hand over hand, rung by rung, my mechadendrites gripping the walls, pulling me higher into the darkness. After 40 years of augmentation, I barely remembered what it felt like to be purely flesh. But I remembered it then, because something felt wrong. The rungs were cold beneath my hands, worn smooth by centuries of tech adepts climbing this same path. Each one thick as my wrist, each one bringing me closer to that sound. Drip, drip, drip. 20 meters up, the shaft widened into Gallery 7, a maintenance ring that circles the Titan's knee joint. I hauled myself onto the platform, my boots clanging against the metal grill. Emergency lumen strips cast weak red light across pipes and conduits that snaked across every surface like the veins of some colossal beast. But here, too, there was silence. The pipes should have been thrumming with energy, with plasma flowing from the Titan's reactor to the massive pistons that drove its legs. Instead, they were still, cold, dead. My organic heart, I'd kept it, one of my few remaining original organs, beat faster. Manufactorum control, this is Vol, I said into my Vox bead. I've reached Gallery 7. Primary power conduits are inactive. No plasma flow detected. This isn't a minor pressure anomaly. The entire leg assembly is offline. Static answered me. Not the brief static of a delayed transmission. The deep, hungry static of complete signal failure. Control? respond. Nothing. I was alone. Truly alone. In the bowels of a god machine that should have been alive with power but lay silent as a tomb. And somewhere above me, water was still dripping. I looked up. The shaft narrowed again above me, disappearing into darkness. But now I saw something else. Light, not the red emergency lumens. Not the green glow of my own optics. Blue light. Soft, cold, impossible blue light spilling down from the compartment above like water itself. In 43 years of service, I'd seen every color of light the Mechanicus employed. White work lumens, red warning beacons, green radiation indicators, yellow hazard markers, but never blue. Blue was not a color of Mars. Blue was not a color of the machine god. Blue was the color of ancient Terra's oceans. Blue was organic. The ascent resumed. My mechadendrites pulled me upward, my organic limbs scrabbling for purchase. The air grew colder. My respirator's filters detected increased humidity, as if I were ascending into a storm cloud. Drip, drip, drip. The sound became faster, more insistent. No longer single drops, but a steady patter like rain on metal. And that blue light grew brighter, spilling down the shaft, illuminating particles of moisture in the air. 10 meters to go. 5. I reached the hatch to compartment 7 Tertius Gamma. It was open, another impossibility. These hatches require authentication codes and the proper catechisms of opening. But this one hung ajar, and through the gap, blue light poured. Drip, drip, drip. 21. Every instinct I had left screamed at me to descend, to flee, to report this impossibility and let others investigate. But 43 years of curiosity, of questions suppressed, of humanity denied, all came rushing back in that moment. I pushed the hatch open and stepped inside, and reality broke. I need you to understand something. When I tell you what I saw, your mind is going to reject it. You're going to think I went mad. That the isolation broke me, that I'm lying, or corrupted, or deceived. I thought all those things too, in the first 30 seconds. Compartment 7 Tertius Gamma should have been 10 meters across and 5 high. A standard maintenance bay filled with pipes, conduits, machinery. I'd been in 1,000 compartments just like it. Instead, I stepped into infinity. The walls disappeared into blue-green haze. The ceiling, if there was a ceiling, vanished into darkness, punctuated by points of light like stars. And beneath my boots, grass, real, organic, growing grass, green and soft and utterly wrong. My processors screamed warnings. My augmetic systems ran diagnostics, certain there was a malfunction in my optical sensors. But every instrument confirmed it. This was real. The grass was real. It carpeted the floor. No, not floor anymore. This was ground, earth, spreading in all directions. Small flowers dotted the grass, white and yellow, their petals trembling in an impossible breeze, and in the center of it all stood a tree. It was perhaps 5 meters tall, its trunk twisted and ancient, its branches spreading like grasping hands toward the darkness above. Its leaves were a vibrant green that hurt to look at after decades of seeing only gray steel and red rust. And from its branches, water dripped. Not from any visible source, but from the leaves themselves, as if the tree was weeping. Drip, drip, drip. The water fell onto the grass below, where it pooled into a small stream that wound through the impossible garden before disappearing into the darkness. The blue light emanated from the water itself, casting everything in an eerie underwater glow. "This cannot be," I whispered, my voice distorted through my respirator. "This violates every principle of the Omnissiah. This is corruption. This is heresy." The word hung unspoken in my mind. Because if this was heresy, if this was the touch of chaos, then I should flee. I should seal this compartment and call for an inquisitor. But my sensors detected no taint, no warp radiation, no demonic presence, just nature, pure organic. impossible nature growing inside a machine of war. Then I saw the body. He sat at the base of the tree, back against its trunk, hands resting on his knees. He wore the tattered remains of a tech priest's robes, though the crimson had faded to pink and the fabric was rotted with moisture. His augmetics were overgrown with moss and flowering vines. His face, what remained of his organic face, was peaceful, eyes closed, almost smiling, dead. He'd been dead for years, perhaps decades. His flesh had mummified in the strange atmosphere, but his augmetics still functioned. His optical implants still glowed faintly. His mechadendrites, wound with flowering vines, still twitched occasionally. I approached carefully, my boots sinking into the grass with each step. The sensation was profoundly disturbing. A nameplate was partially visible beneath the moss on his chest. Ingensier Primus Hadron Vex. My internal database searched. Found the record, reported missing, 953.M41. Last known location, maintenance of Warlord Titan Ferrum Eternus. Search conducted. Subject not found. Declared deceased in absentia. 44 years ago. This man had been missing for 44 years, and no one had found him. No one had found this place. How? I whispered to the corpse. How did you create this? The answer came from everywhere and nowhere at once. He didn't create it. He found it, as you have found it. I spun around, my mechadendrites extending defensively. Show yourself! Identify your nature. I am here, the voice said. It came from the grass, from the tree, from the water itself. Not mechanical, not organic. Something between. I am everywhere you see. I am the garden. Impossible, I said. You're a machine spirit? An AI? That's heretical. I am older than your Mechanicus, the voice interrupted, and there was no malice in it. Just fact. Older than your Titans. Older than your Imperium. I am memory. I am what this world was before you covered it in metal. 30. My processors raced, trying to categorize, to understand, to fit this into some framework I could comprehend. Mars is sacred to the machine god. All that came before was alive, the voice finished. Before Mars was a forge world, it lived. Red deserts and ancient seas, life struggling in thin air, and when your kind came and built over it, covered it in metal and declared it sacred to the machine, you thought you'd erased what was. But life is persistent, priest. Life finds a way. I stared at the tree, at the grass, at the water dripping endlessly from branches that shouldn't exist. A single drop of water, trapped for millennia, can become a river. A single seed, preserved in ancient stone, can become a tree. I am what remains, what refuses to die. What waits? Waits for what? I asked. For someone to remember. That's when I understood. This wasn't corruption. This wasn't heresy. This was something far more dangerous to the Mechanicus than any demon. This was proof that life persists. That no matter how much metal we pour over it, no matter how many prayers we speak, no matter how hard we try to purge the organic, nature endures. Why didn't Hadron Vex report this? I asked. Look at his face, the voice whispered, and tell me if you see suffering. I studied the mummified features. The serene expression, the peaceful rest. This wasn't the face of a man who'd discovered corruption. This was the face of a man who'd found something precious. He chose to stay, I realized. He remembered. The voice said what it meant to feel rain, to smell flowers, to rest in shade. All the things the Mechanicus taught him to despise as weakness. I stood there for I don't know how long. Minutes, hours. Time felt different in that place. My augmetic processors calculated risks, probabilities, consequences. Reporting this would be the safe choice, the dutiful choice, the choice my training demanded. But looking at Hadron Vex's peaceful face, I realized something. He'd made his choice 44 years ago, the choice to preserve something beautiful, even if no one else would ever see it. The choice to rebel not through violence or chaos, but through the simple act of tending a garden that shouldn't exist, that couldn't exist, but did. What do you want from me? I asked the voice. Nothing, it said. I want nothing from you, Tertius Val. I simply exist. But I will ask you a question. What do you want? And that question broke something inside me, because I didn't know. I'd spent 43 years serving, functioning, fulfilling my duty. I'd forgotten I was allowed to want anything. I stopped. Started again. I want to remember what it feels like to be human. Not weak, not impure, just human. Then remember, the voice said warmly. Remember here. Carry the memory with you when you return. Let it remind you that you are more than your function. I sat down in the grass. Just sat there, feeling it beneath me, listening to the water drip, breathing air that smelled like growing things instead of machine oil. And I cried. One tear from my organic eye, my augmetic eye, couldn't cry. But that single tear felt like it carried 43 years of suppressed grief. If I report this, I said finally, they'll destroy it. Burn it. Purge the contamination. Yes, the voice agreed. And if I don't? Then it continues, hidden, secret, a small rebellion of life against the tyranny of pure function. Perhaps someone else will find it. Perhaps they'll need it as Hadron Vex needed it, as you need it now. I stood slowly, walked to the tree, placed my hand, my organic hand, against its bark. It felt warm, alive, real in a way nothing in my life had felt real for decades. I won't report it, I said. I'll seal the compartment, mark it as structurally compromised, keep everyone away. I paused, then added quietly, and I'll come back. When I can. To remember, you are welcome, the voice said. You are always welcome in the garden beneath the Titan Eye sealed compartment 7 Tertius Gamma that day. Applied warning symbols and authentication locks. Coded it as structurally compromised, potentially hazardous. An investigation that, if I had anything to say about it, would never come. As I descended the maintenance shaft, my Vox bead crackled back to life. Engineer Val, this is Manufactorum Control. We lost your signal. Report status. I paused on the ladder. In my augmetic memory, I could still see the garden, still hear the water dripping, still feel the grass beneath my feet. Minor structural issue in compartment 7 Tertius Gamma, I reported, my voice steady. I've sealed the area. Recommend marking as restricted pending full analysis. The anomaly has been contained. A lie. My first lie to the Mechanicus in 43 years of service. Acknowledged, Engineer. Well done. Return to your station. Compliance? I said. But something had changed in me. My fellow tech priests noticed it over the following weeks. My movements were less rigid. My voice carried warmth when I spoke the litanies. One adept even asked if I'd received new emotional regulators. I smiled and told him I'd optimized my existing systems. I returned to the garden 3 times in those weeks. The first time, I brought tools and helped adjust pipes to improve water flow. The second time, I brought a data slate with botanical records from ancient Terra. The third time, I brought nothing but myself, and I sat beneath the tree and wept again. They were good tears. Healing tears. 73 days after I found the garden, the Ferrum Eternus walked again. Its great horn blared across the Manufactorum as its reactor roared to life. The entire Forge world shook with each step as the Warlord Titan strode toward embarkation, ready for deployment to the Cadian Gate. I watched from the observation deck, my heart filled with conflicting emotions. Pride at my work, the Titan functioned perfectly, but also anxiety. Because somewhere in that towering machine of war, hidden in compartment 7 Tertius Gamma, a garden grew. Would it survive the vibrations? The power surges? The violence of war? I didn't know, and perhaps that uncertainty was part of what made me human. So I volunteered for deployment. Not as the Titan's primary engineer, that position was filled, but as support staff. Any role that would allow me to stay close. My superiors were surprised but pleased. They called it devotion, faith. They didn't know the truth. The Cadian Gate is hell. There's no other word for it. The sky burns with warp fire. The ground shakes with artillery. Through it all, the forces of chaos press their eternal assault against the fortress world, guarding the Imperium from the eye of terror. The Ferrum Eternus stands in the center of the maelstrom, its weapons blazing, its warhorn drowning out even the screams of demons. I've watched it crush Chaos Reavers beneath its feet, seen its plasma annihilator vaporize demon hordes, and 3 times during lulls in the fighting, I've found my way back to the garden. It not only survived, it thrived. The tree had grown taller. New flowers bloomed, red ones now, like blood or roses. The stream had widened into a pool, and the air still smelled sweet and clean, impossibly untouched by the war outside. How do you survive? I asked on that first visit. The Titan shakes with every step. The weapons discharge enough energy to level cities. You should be destroyed. Life adapts, the voice said. The vibrations become rhythm. The energy becomes warmth. The violence outside makes the peace within more precious. We endure because we must. I sat beneath the tree, as I had before, and watched the water drip. Outside, men were dying. Demons manifested and were banished. The eternal war ground on. But here, grass grew. Water flowed. Life persisted. It happened during my 4th visit. I entered compartment 7 Tertius Gamma, expecting to find it empty. Instead, I found Tech Adept Kara Sin standing beneath the tree, tears streaming down her face. She's young, only 23 years of service, minimal augmentation. She still has both eyes, both hands. When she saw me, she looked terrified. "I'm sorry," she said quickly. "I was doing maintenance and I found this place. I know I should report it, but I can't. I don't want them to destroy it." "Please don't report me." I stood there looking at her. This young woman who'd found the same thing I'd found. Who'd made the same choice I'd made. And I realized something profound. The secret was spreading. Hadron Vex found it 44 years ago. I found it 4 months ago. Kara found it last week. If 3 of us found it, how many others might find it in the years to come? How many tech priests, worn down by service, hollowed out by augmentation, might stumble into this impossible place and remember what it means to be human? I told her everything. About Hadron Vex, about the voice, about the choice I made. I told her she wasn't alone. She cried harder then, and I held her. My augmetic arms around her organic shoulders. "Machine and flesh, together. Why are you telling me this?" she asked. "Because someone needs to know," I said. "If I die in this war, if the garden is discovered and destroyed, someone needs to remember it existed. Someone needs to know that life found a way. That beauty persisted even in the heart of a war machine. So that's why I'm recording this now. Why I'm storing it in encrypted logs scattered across a dozen data vaults throughout the Imperium. Because this story needs to be told, even if the Mechanicus calls it heresy, even if I'm declared excommunicate, even if they hunt me down for daring to suggest that maybe, just maybe, the flesh isn't weak after all. I've learned something in these months since I found the garden. Something the Mechanicus doesn't want you to know. Something they've spent 10,000 years trying to make us forget. We are not machines that happen to contain flesh. We are humans who enhance ourselves with machines. There's a difference. A crucial, vital difference that they've tried to erase from our consciousness. The flesh isn't weak. The flesh is where we come from, where our humanity lives, where our compassion, our creativity, our ability to love and hope and dream resides. The machine is strong, yes. The machine is eternal, yes. But the machine without the flesh is just empty, functional but soulless, perfect but meaningless. What we should be seeking isn't the replacement of one with the other. It's the synthesis, the balance, machine and man together, each making the other more than they could be alone. That's what the garden taught me. That's what Hadron Vex understood. That's why he stayed. Not because he rejected the machine, but because he finally understood that the machine and the organic weren't enemies. They were partners. They always had been. Mars itself proves it. Beneath all that metal, beneath millennia of construction, life still exists, still grows, still waits. Not in opposition to the machine, but hidden within it, protected by it, preserved by it. They're coming for me now. I can hear them in the corridors outside my quarters. Tech guards. Probably an inquisitor. Someone reported my logs. Someone found my encrypted files. Someone discovered the truth. They'll take me, interrogate me, declare me corrupt or mad or both. They'll mind wipe me or execute me or turn me into a servitor. They'll do whatever it takes to suppress what I've discovered, but it's too late. The recordings are scattered. The truth is out there. And the garden still grows, hidden in compartment 7 Tertius Gamma of the warlord Titan Ferrum Eternus. Hidden but not forgotten. Kara knows. Others will find it. The secret will spread. One tech priest at a time, one discovery at a time, until enough of us remember what we've lost. 52. What happens when you find a garden growing in the heart of a Titan? Everything changes. Your certainties crumble. Your faith becomes more complex. Your understanding of the machine god transforms into something deeper, richer, more human. You remember what you sacrificed to become what you are. And you realize that maybe, just maybe, that sacrifice wasn't necessary. That there's another way, a better way, a way where the machine and the flesh coexist. Where strength doesn't require the purging of weakness. Where perfection doesn't demand the destruction of humanity. They're at the door now. This is my last transmission. My final testimony. But I'm not afraid. Because I know something they don't. Life is persistent. Life finds a way. No matter how much metal they pour over it. No matter how many prayers they speak. No matter how hard they try to suppress it. Drip, drip, drip. Somewhere in the darkness beneath a god machine, water still falls. Grass still grows. A tree still stands. And the voice still whispers to those brave enough to listen. Remember what it means to be human. Remember what you were. Remember what you could still become. The door to my quarters shudders under the first impact. Bolter fire. They're not here to take me alive after all. Through the thin metal I can hear them, tech guard. Their augmetic voices barking coordinates, clearance codes, authorization for lethal force. I have perhaps 2 minutes before they breach. My fingers move across the data slate one final time, encrypting this recording, scattering it across 17 different data vaults throughout the Imperium. Some in forgotten archive worlds, some in the memory cores of ships that won't return to port for decades. Some buried so deep in the Mechanicus' own systems that they'll never find them all. They can kill me, but they can't kill the truth. 30. The second impact tears the door halfway off its hinges. I can see them now through the gap. Crimson robes, weapons raised, optical sensors glowing with cold certainty. Behind them a figure in black. Inquisitorial rosette gleaming on their chest. So they sent an inquisitor. They're taking this seriously. Good. Engineer Tertius Vol. The Inquisitor's voice booms through a Vox amplifier. You are charged with techno-heresy, deviation from approved doctrine, and corruption of sacred machine spirits. Surrender yourself for purification or face immediate execution. I look down at my hands. One mostly metal, one mostly flesh, both trembling. Both mine. No, I say quietly. 15. The door explodes inward. Tech guard flood my quarters, their weapons trained on me. The Inquisitor steps through the smoke. A woman with half her face replaced by augmetics, her remaining eye burning with zealous fury. Where is it? She demands. Where is the corruption you discovered? The contamination you've been protecting? I smile, actually smile. It feels strange on my face after so many years. You can't destroy it, I tell her. Even if I told you where it was, even if you burned it to ash, the truth would remain. Life persists. It always has. It always will. Her eye narrows. Seize him. They drag me through the corridors of the forward base, past tech priests who avert their eyes, past space marines who watch with unreadable expressions. Word has already spread. The heretic engineer, the one who claimed to find life inside a Titan. Some look at me with disgust. Others look curious, questioning, as if something in my story has awakened something they thought long dead. The Inquisitor leads me to an interrogation chamber, straps me into a chair that connects directly to my neural ports. She's going to mind rip me. Extract everything I know about the garden, about the compartment, about the voice. Last chance, Vol, she says, her fingers dancing across the control console. Tell me willingly, and your death will be quick. Resist and I'll tear your mind apart piece by piece until there's nothing left but an empty shell. I look at her. Really look at her. Beneath the augmetics, beneath the zealotry, beneath the absolute certainty, I see fear. She's afraid. Afraid that what I found might be real. Afraid that everything she believes might be built on a lie. I'll tell you something, I say, but not what you want to hear. Her hand hovers over the activation switch. The Omnissiah isn't what we think it is, I continue. The machine god doesn't demand the destruction of the flesh. That's what we've made it into. That's what we've twisted it to mean. But the truth is simpler. The truth is that machine and life were never meant to be enemies. They're meant to be partners. And somewhere, buried deep in our own doctrines, we once knew that. Heresy, she hisses. Truth, I reply calmly. And you know it. Deep down, in whatever organic parts of you remain, you know it. Her hand slams down on the activation switch. Pain explodes through my neural ports as the interrogation protocols begin. My vision whites out. My processors scream. I feel her presence in my mind, a cold, invasive force tearing through my memories like claws through paper. She sees my first augmentation, sees me as a child, crying as they replaced my eyes, sees decades of service of slow transformation from human to tool, sees the loneliness, the emptiness, the questions I buried deep, and then she sees the garden. The interrogation stops abruptly. The Inquisitor stumbles backward, her hand pressed to her temple, her remaining organic eye wide with shock. It's real, she whispers. I saw it. In your memories. The grass, the tree, the water. It's actually real. I slump in the chair, blood trickling from my nose, my ears, my eyes. The mind rip has done damage even my enhanced physiology will struggle to repair. But I'm still conscious, still aware. Yes, I managed to say. It's real. She stares at me for a long moment. I can see the conflict in her expression. Duty warring with doubt. Faith warring with evidence. Everything she believes crashing against what she just witnessed in my mind. The coordinates, she says finally. I have them now. From your memories. Compartment 7 Tertius Gamma, Warlord Titan Ferrum Eternus. My heart sinks. I'd hoped, but no. Of course she extracted them. That was always the risk. I'll assemble a purification team immediately, she continues, but her voice lacks its earlier certainty. We'll burn it out. Sterilize the compartment. Sanctify it with the proper rites. The contamination will be cleansed. And then what? I ask, my voice weak but steady. You'll cleanse one compartment. But the truth remains. Life found a way once. It will find a way again. On other Titans, in other forgotten spaces. You can't purge it all. She doesn't respond, just stands there, her hand still pressed to her temple, as if she's trying to push my memories out of her mind and failing. I saw him too, she says quietly. Hadron Vex, I saw his face, his peace. He looked content. After 44 years of service, he found something worth staying for. Something worth dying for. Yes, when did we lose that? She asks, and for the first time, she sounds human, vulnerable. When did serving the machine god become about destroying everything organic? When did strength become synonymous with the purging of weakness? When did we forget that we're supposed to be serving humanity, not becoming something that barely resembles it? I don't have an answer. Or rather, I have too many answers. 10,000 years of drift. 10,000 years of the imperial truth being replaced by dogma. 10,000 years of survival requiring the suppression of everything that made us human. You can still choose differently, I tell her, You have the coordinates. You have the authority. You could seal the compartment, mark it restricted, let it remain, let it be proof that there's another way. She looks at me, and I see it in her eye. The moment of decision, the choice that will define everything that comes next. No, she says finally. I can't. My duty is clear. The contamination must be purged. My hope dies. I close my eyes, waiting for the execution order. At least the recordings are safe. At least the truth will survive me. But then she continues. However, the Ferrum Eternus is currently engaged in active combat operations. Any purification team would need to wait until it returns to port. That could be months, perhaps years. And in that time, much could happen. Coordinates could be lost. Records could be misfiled. The compartment might even be destroyed in battle, rendering any purification efforts unnecessary. I open my eyes. She's looking at me with an expression I can't quite read. Do you understand what I'm saying, Val? I understand. She's giving the garden time. Time to spread its seeds, its influence, its truth. Time for more tech priests to find it. Time for the secret to grow beyond the point where it can be contained. It's not mercy. It's not even agreement. But it's possibility. I understand, Inquisitor. She nods curtly. You will be executed at dawn, officially for the crime of techno-heresy and corruption of sacred doctrine. Your remains will be recycled into servitor components, as is standard for heretics. All records of your discovery will be classified and sealed. She turns to leave, then pauses at the door. But I will not order the destruction of the garden. Not immediately.
I will.
Investigate further, personally, before making a final determination. After she leaves, I'm alone in the interrogation chamber. My body is broken. My mind is ravaged. I have perhaps 12 hours before they execute me, but I'm smiling, because I know what happens next. The Inquisitor will go to the garden. She'll see it with her own eyes, not filtered through my memories. She'll stand beneath that tree. She'll hear the voice. She'll face the same choice Hadron Vex faced. The same choice I faced. And maybe, just maybe, she'll choose differently than she thinks she will. The door opens again. But this time it's not the Inquisitor. It's Kara Sin. I'm getting you out of here, she says urgently, rushing to the chair, her fingers flying over the restraint controls. Kara, no. They'll execute you too. I don't care, she interrupts. You showed me the truth. You gave me back something I didn't even know I'd lost. I'm not letting them kill you for that. The restraints release. I slump forward, barely able to stand. Kara catches me, her organic strength surprising. Where will we go? I ask. They'll hunt us. Across the Imperium if necessary, she smiles grimly. I've been talking to others. Tech priests who heard your story, who found the recordings you scattered. There are more of us than you think, Val. More who question. More who remember. We have a ship waiting. A small one, but fast. We'll disappear into the outer systems. Continue the work. What work? Finding more gardens, she says simply. You can't be the only one who's discovered them. If life persisted in one Titan, it's persisted in others. In other machines. Other forgotten spaces throughout the Mechanicus. We'll find them. Document them. Protect them. Build a network of tech priests who understand that the machine and the flesh aren't enemies. I stare at her. This young woman, barely augmented, carrying more hope and courage than I'd seen in decades of service. The Inquisition will hunt us forever, I warn her. Then we'll run forever, she replies. But we'll run together. And we won't run empty-handed. We'll carry the truth with us, planted everywhere we go, until it grows too large to be purged. We move through the corridors like ghosts. Kara has helpers, other tech priests who've turned their backs on the Mechanicus. They create distractions, falsify patrol routes, hack security systems. It's a conspiracy. A rebellion built not on violence, but on the simple desire to remember what it means to be human. We reach the hangar bay. The ship is small, barely more than a courier vessel, but its engines hum with quiet power. On its hull, someone has painted a symbol I've never seen before. A tree growing from the center of a cogwheel. What is that? I ask. Our new sigil, Kara says. The union of machine and life. The truth we carry forward. As we board the ship, alarms begin to blare. They've discovered my escape. We have minutes at best. The engines roar to life. The ship lifts from the hangar deck. Last fire scorches our hull as Tech Guard try to bring us down. But we're fast. Faster than they expected. We punch through the hangar force field and into the smoke-filled sky of the Cadian Gate. Behind us, I can see the Ferrum Eternus. Still fighting, still standing, and somewhere inside it, hidden in Compartment 7 Tertius Gamma, a garden grows. I think of Hadron Vex, sitting peaceful beneath that tree. I think of the Inquisitor, who will soon stand where I stood and face the same revelation. I think of all the tech priests across the Imperium who will find my recordings and begin to question, where do we go now? I ask Kara as we break atmosphere, the stars opening up before us. She pulls up a star chart. Dozens of systems marked with small notations. Ancient forge worlds, Titan manufactorums, machine temples on forgotten worlds, everywhere, she says. We search everywhere. For every garden that's grown in the darkness. For every place where life has persisted despite our attempts to purge it. We document them. We protect them. We show others that there's another way. It could take centuries, I say. Then we'd better get started. 3 months later, Inquisitor Visara stands in Compartment 7 Tertius Gamma, staring at the tree. She came alone as she knew she would. Told no one where she was going. Carried no weapons save her faith. That faith is crumbling now. The grass is soft beneath her boots. The water drips in its endless rhythm. The blue light bathes everything in an otherworldly glow. And the voice speaks to her as it spoke to Hadron Vex, as it spoke to Val. Welcome, Seeker. You have traveled far to remember. She falls to her knees, not in worship, not in defeat, but in understanding, in acceptance of a truth she'd spent her entire life running from. The flesh is not weak. The machine is not the only path to strength, and somewhere between the two lies the future humanity was always meant to have. She will not destroy the garden. She will protect it, even if it costs her everything. 6 months later, the recordings of Engineer Tertius Val have spread across 17 sectors. Tech priests debate them in secret. Some call them heresy, others call them revelation, but no one can stop talking about them. On Forge World Graia, a maintenance adept finds moss growing in the coolant system of a Reaver Titan. Instead of purging it, she studies it, documents it, protects it. On Mars itself, in the deepest vaults beneath the surface, something stirs. Ancient aquifers, sealed for millennia, begin to flow again. Seeds preserved since before the age of strife begin to germinate. 1 year later, Val and Kara's ship, now named the Persistent Garden, has discovered 12 more locations where life has taken root inside machines. Each one is different. Each one is precious. Each one is proof. They've gathered a crew of 30 former tech priests, renegades and heretics by Mechanicus standards, seekers of truth by their own. They've started calling themselves the Gardeners. 5 years later, the Mechanicus officially declares the Gardeners a heretical sect. But they can't find them, can't stop them, can't prevent their message from spreading. On 100 worlds, tech priests begin to question, begin to remember, begin to understand that the path they've been walking for 10,000 years is not the only path, not even the right path. The change is slow, glacial, but it's real. 10 years later, Engineer Tertius Val dies peacefully in his sleep aboard the Persistent Garden. He's 73 years old. His body has begun to reject his augmetics, the organic parts finally asserting themselves after decades of suppression. Kara is with him at the end. So are 30 others who've joined their cause. Did we succeed? He asks her, his voice weak. She takes his organic hand in hers. Look, she shows him a data slate. Reports from across the Imperium. Gardens found in Titans on 50 worlds. Tech priests questioning their doctrine. The Inquisition frustrated in their attempts to suppress the truth. Even some high-ranking members of the Mechanicus beginning to advocate for reform. It's working, she says. Slowly, but it's working. He smiles. Good, that's good. His last words are the drip. Do you hear it? The drip beneath the Titan. It's still there. It will always be there. Life persists. And he's right. The Mechanicus has changed. Not completely, not even mostly, but enough. The doctrine of flesh is weak has been quietly amended. Not abandoned, that would be too much, too fast, but softened, reinterpreted. Now it reads, flesh alone is weak, machine alone is cold. Together they are strong. It's a small change, but it's everything. Compartment 7 Tertius Gamma remains sealed, protected now not as a site of contamination, but as a sacred place. A reminder, a symbol. The first garden discovered, the seed from which everything else grew. Kara Sin, now ancient herself, makes the pilgrimage one final time. She stands beneath the tree, now 20 meters tall, its branches spreading wide, its roots deep. The stream has become a river. The flowers bloom in impossible colors. She places her hand on the bark, just as Val did all those years ago. Thank you, she whispers, for waiting, for persisting, for reminding us. Thank you, the voice responds, for remembering, for choosing, for carrying the truth forward. She smiles. Will you still be here? After I'm gone? Always, the voice promises. Life persists. It always has. It always will. And now, thanks to you and those like you, it will never again be forgotten. Kara leaves the garden for the last time, seals the hatch behind her, returns to the world of metal and prayer and duty. But she carries the memory with her, as do thousands of others now. Millions perhaps across the Imperium, all of them touched by the story of one tech priest who heard a drip in the darkness and followed it to truth. The Mechanicus will never be what it was. The change is irreversible now. The seed has been planted too deep, grown too strong, spread too far. Life has won, not by destroying the machine, but by reminding the machine that it was built to serve life, not replace it. This is the last known recording of Enginsir Tertius Val, made 1 week before his death. If you're hearing this, then I succeeded. The truth survived me. The garden survives. And somewhere, someone else is standing where I stood, hearing the drip, making the choice. To them, I say this: you are not betraying the machine god by honoring the flesh. You are not weak for remembering what it means to be human. You are not a heretic for believing that machine and life can coexist. You are simply complete. The Omnissiah does not demand the destruction of one to elevate the other. That's what we made it demand. That's the lie we told ourselves to justify what we'd become. The truth is simpler. The truth is that we were always meant to be both. Flesh and metal, organic and synthetic, human and machine together, in balance, in harmony. That's what the garden taught me. That's what Hadron Vex understood. That's what I'm passing to you now. Listen for the drip. Follow it into the darkness. And when you find your garden, and you will find it, I promise you, protect it. Nurture it. Let it remind you of what we almost lost. Let it remind you that life persists. Always. Enginsir Tertius Val in the darkness beneath a warlord titan. Water drips from the branches of an impossible tree. Somewhere, a tech priest hears it and begins to wonder. Somewhere, a garden waits to be found. Somewhere, humanity remembers. Drip, drip, drip. The end life persists. The garden endures. The truth will never die.